It's an absolutely whack day in the world of Magic the Gathering, yo. Wizards of the Coast has crushed Arena down into not a diamond. I don't know what happens when you crush something into something worthless, but Arena is falling apart. On top of that, Wizards of the Coast thought it would be fun to announce the greediest promotion in Magic the Gathering's history. And at the same time, they've introduced something brand new to the game in the form of Universewalkers. Magic. I am a wizard. History. I'm an old wizard. The magic historian. My bones hurt. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another wild installment of Mega Magic News. Now, before we cover that, we should probably cover this. Some of y'all thinking I'm out there doing a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cosplay, but here's what really happened. Wizards sent some jackboot thugs after me, and they found me in an alley, but what they really learned was why I'm called the Hatchet. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the actual Magic the Gathering news. We're going to start out with what's going on with Magic Arena, because you may not be aware, I was clueless as to what's going on with Arena because, I don't know, maybe almost a year ago now, I bailed on Arena. I used to be hardcore into Arena. I loved the accessibility of it. I enjoyed collecting up all the cards. Like, I was a free-to-play player, and while I didn't like the fact that Arena kind of limited your social interaction a lot, at first, I was like, yes, let's go Arena. But slowly over time, the game kind of soured for me. I ran into a bunch of issues and said, okay, I'm going to bail. But I presumed that Arena would still be flying high overall because Wizards of the Coast made such a big deal about Arena in the first place, right? They're like, they will know your name. This will be the location for Magic Esports. In fact, we're going to get rid of the Pro Tour physically and bring it over here. It's going to be everything, right? So that was Wizards' initial plan, to make like Arena the go-to hotspot. Yes, play paper or whatever, but Arena's going to be where the real deal is, where the big boys play, where you test, where you do all that. But Wizards didn't take the steps to really make it a competitive style place in terms of any other game that has a pro tour that plays on their game has a separate client that they use. So when the pro players play, it's separated off. So there's all these little things that Wizards of the Coast did. They're like, no, we're not going to have a dusting system. They set it up in the greediest way possible. They create a mastery pass where you can literally pay $20 and get virtually nothing in return if you don't play the game every single day. And so they just kept making incremental changes that made the game worse and worse. And if you're a long-time Arena player, you'll know what I'm talking about. Look at the booster pack deals they give. They originally went, instead of 1,000 gold for a booster pack, we'll sell you one for 500 gold. Then they went 600 gold, 700 gold, 800 gold, 900 gold, to the point where you're paying 900 gold because it's technically a discount, but you don't even feel like you're getting a deal. But Wizards tells themselves, well, we're getting this many deals out there, people are feeling good, and we're pulling gold out of the community. But what's happening is they're just destroying the goodwill of the game. And then you layer in what happened with Alchemy, right? Where they went, okay, you have a non-rotating format in the form of Historic. People love Historic. What if we were to just shove Alchemy into Historic? And what if every time you logged in, we automatically put you into Alchemy and just pushed you into it? They couldn't get Alchemy to take off properly even by creating full seasons for it. And at first they went, Alchemy will be this dynamic format where we tweak and change everything to keep it balanced. But what Alchemy really is we want Hearthstone and we don't want to give you wild cards. It's all about keeping wild rare cards out of your hands. That's what the name of the game was with Arena. And then it started to get more desperate where they went, okay, you know what? We're actually finally willing to sell wild cards direct to $50 and you can buy these wild cards. And then it got even worse. And like, $10 and you can buy all these wild cards? We made these golden packs that are like the equivalent of, we know we made it so you can't draft for the 2 weeks, but getting these packs is like the same. But we don't want to give you the ability to draft for 2 weeks as free-to-play players. We don't actually really want you to exist. We want to frustrate you into spending. On top of that, we want to keep a skeleton crew for the game, like basically have almost nobody working on it, so we can't even keep up with the bugs and the problems. Somebody said, I never had any bugs on Arena, and I said in my mind, that means you played it for about 4 seconds or never touched it. If you've never experienced a bug with Arena, you're not playing Magic the Gathering Arena. You're playing some other game because it is very buggy, and the load times, everything got progressively worse. It took my wife less than a week and a half to go, you know what? I'm never touching Arena again, right? And she actively wants to be involved with what I'm doing, right? So that tells you just how bad Arena is on the surface. But man, the numbers are just plummeting into the earth. I was astounded, absolutely astounded when I was told that MTGO and Paper Magic are beating Arena. If you go on Twitch right now and you go to the Magic area, you will find more streams and bigger streams of people playing MTGO, which is Magic the Gathering Online, a super clunky old program from 20 years ago. It's old, it's buggy, it's not good to look at, but it's the closest you can get for a one-to-one experience in terms of playing Magic. Now, Arena had the whole, like, look, we're sleek, we're beautiful. I said that too. Like, I legitimately played Arena over MTGO because, yo, it looks nicer. And at first, it flowed smoother. But they've reached the point where there's this massive exodus, and you're not going to reverse course on that. It's not going to turn around, or a bunch of Arena creators are going to be like, well, I'm coming back to the game. They're moving off. Apparently, Marvel created a game called Snap, and just Thanos snapped a bunch of people straight over to it. They're having a way more fun with it, to the point where I'm actually even considering going and checking it out, because what's happened with like Wizards and Magic right now has created a malaise that is lingering in the community, and I feel it too. But regardless, Arena, you have to understand, Wizards of the Coast is going to their investors and going, our hybrid model guarantees us a 40% boost in income. And if you don't know what that means, hybrid players are digital and paper players. So like if we get them on Arena and playing paper, we make 40% more money off of them. Well, good luck with that. Arena's absolutely collapsing, trying to get people in on it. They were like, this is going to be the biggest thing. And now they'll be lucky if anybody even plays it anymore. It feels like Arena's decline is absolutely inevitable and will not be stopped, right? So that is definitely newsworthy. Let's move on to Wizards' greediest promotion I've ever seen. I mean, obviously, 30th anniversary, whatever, but this is a completely different beast. So let me put it up on the screen and show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you're not familiar with what you're seeing right now, this is for Wizards of the Coast's Shop-E store. And this, if I'm not mistaken, is actually located in Singapore. And I'm very curious as to how the market works over there, because you have to understand that Wizards of the Coast took down 30th anniversary for sale after 30 to 35 minutes by all indications. But at the same time, they didn't take down 30th anniversary for sale on Shopee. So when Wizards of the Coast put out that tweet saying this product is no longer available for sale, that wasn't actually true. It was available still on this website, which makes me think that the backlash over there might be different. Maybe in Singapore, they don't really care about the 30th edition and didn't have that big hubbub. Because right now, Wizards of the Coast is full on doing a spend the most money. If you want to talk about Magic being pay to win, this is the biggest pay to win thing Wizards has ever done. See how it says be the top spender and win? It's basically straight up. We're looking for the top 10 spenders on our Shop-E store. Mark your calendars and be ready to check out on 12/12. So basically, mark on your calendars, fill your cart up with products. Everybody compete to spend the most money on the 12th of December. Now, I don't know if the 12th of December is a special day in Singapore or Wizards of the Coast just picked that as like, yo, let's hit this Monday. This is when we think the consumers have the money to spend. Let's try and get as much as we can. But I want you to understand that they are offering a set of 6 tokens. That's what you get. The top 10 people who spend the most money get a set of 6 Battlefield mural tokens. Now, I don't know if these are tokens that are available in other ways or if this is the only way to get them, but I've never seen them before. And I spend a lot of time involved with Magic the Gathering. So I feel pretty comfortable saying that if these did exist before this, they were super rare and only given out individually. But who knows? With the way that Wizards market stuff, a full set of Battlefield mural tokens could literally be the first time they're here. But I've noticed a specific trend, right? Every different geographic location tends to have its oddities. Japan is like, we want special versions of cards that you can only get here. There's a ton of TCGs there, and they expect to be treated specially, and so they get that special treatment. But in Singapore, it appears that the big deal is tokens. And that to me is absolutely wild. Of all the things for people to be obsessed about and really, really want, token strikes me as so strange. For the longest time in the game, we just used ripped up pieces of magic cards or coins or whatever to represent our tokens. And admittedly, token cards are cool, but they're non-magic cards to me, right? That secret layer that they made with the Bitter Blossom and 4 tokens was 1 magic card and 4 tokens as far as I'm concerned. But in places like Singapore, it might be like they go, you get 1 magic card and 4 tokens. It feels like tokens are a huge thing. Wizards of the Coast only wants money. So they're not going to pick a promotion that doesn't appeal to that market. So it is very interesting to note that Wizards of the Coast is working literally every single angle. We've seen them getting in on the secondary market with secret layers. We've seen the 30th anniversary trying to hit the reserve list and pseudo the proxy gold bordered market at the same time. And now we see them trying to absolutely monetize tokens to the fullest extent. It's absolutely wild and absolutely greedy. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that Wizards of the Coast has introduced Universewalkers. Well, I have some very rare and very interesting cards to show you. I've got a couple to look at, but we're going to start out with Beode, the Inverse Sun. This is a wild magic card. 1 black, 1 blue, and 2 for a legendary Universewalker. All right? It's got +2, mill 3 cards, then return any number of cards from different universes milled this way from your graveyard to your hand. -X, choose a universe you haven't chosen this way this game. You may cast a spell from that universe with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. This card can be your commander, and your deck can include any Universe Beyond cards of any color identity. So, what even is this, right? Well, first of all, the idea of a Universewalker is incredible. It's a planeswalker who can move literally from universe to universe. So forget just traveling from plane to plane. You can go to a brand new universe that has endless new planes. So this is going to be the most powerful individual in Magic's history if you consider this character to be canon, right? It's going to be up in the air. You have to understand that this is a Heroes of the Realm card. And if you don't know what Heroes of the Realm cards are, these are exceptionally rare because they are only given out to Wizards of the Coast employees. And the cards are actually themed to the project that those employees work on. So Beode is given out to everybody who works on the Universes Beyond crew, and that is what you get as your reward. And understand that being given one of these magic cards is like being given a big fat wad of cash if you want to sell them. These cards can go for $10, $15, $20,000. Depending on the team that you're on, there will only be 3, 4, 5 of these cards. I think on the biggest teams, there's maybe 20 copies. So imagine a magic card there are only 20 of in the world, and imagine all the fiendish collectors out there. Every time one of these goes up for sale in the one Facebook group I'm a part of, there is a frenzy of activity around it. And conceptually, this is a really cool card, right? This is something that lets you harness all of your different Universes Beyond cards. So if you're somebody who really enjoys the Universe Beyond stuff, you can actually even exceed your commander's color identity. So you've got that situation where you can go, hey, I can put cards in that don't even fit my theme because I'm Beode. And on another fun level, this totally is representative of how Wizards feels about Universes Beyond. We're shoving it in. It's going to be powerful. Deal with it. We don't care what you think, right? Universes Beyond are here to stay. We're celebrating it with Beode, all right? Now, the artwork on this is epic. I'm not even sure exactly where Beode is. Is it the being in the middle or something like that with the hair flowing upwards? It's like this like shattered universe. Is Beode the sun in the middle? It's just, are they made up of a ton of different people? The idea of a Universewalker that is an inverse sun, like a solar god, I guess? The flavor on this is through the roof, friends. What an absolutely wild card. And it's not the only Universe Beyond, it's not the only Heroes of the Realm card I have to show you. Check it out. This is Ursta, Friend to All. 1 of every color mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker Ursta. +1, create a 1/1 human wizard creature token that's all colors. -3, choose a card from among Enlightened Tutor, Mystical Tutor, Booster Tutor, Imperial Recruiter, and Worldly Tutor. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast that copy without paying its mana cost. Now that's funky to notice because most of those tutors will get stuff from your deck. But Booster Tutor will actually let you open a booster pack, pick the card from that pack, and put it into your hand. So this can just be used with a ton of booster packs to keep every one of my draws. I'm just boom, boom, boom. Every turn, I'm going to go ahead and grab a random card from a booster. That's fun. And then it's got -8. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more wizards, you win the game. So that's pretty funky, right? You can make wizards that are all colors. You get enough of them, you win the game. This to me is, I'm guessing it's like customer service or like public relations, friends to everybody, unless you got a problem with your serialized cards, and then hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back or else they'll send them thugs for you in the alley. Anyways, that wraps up this video, my friends. Thanks for coming by. Big shout out to my patrons, and I'll leave some links on the screen to my other channels if you want to come hang out elsewhere and have some more fun. See you next time.